Come on. I am live. This is New York City. New York City is live. I have a guest on. She's
Yeah.
going to be live. Chicago, you tangible niggas are live. I give you credit. No, I don't, because we're gonna eviscerate you today. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Beyond Borders Live. And if you see this on the video playback already, she's like, what the hell did I walk into? Folks, y'all know me. When Rose is here, she takes care of the intro. I come in with a little funny retort, break the ice, because I know she was pissed off about something during the week. That's how we do. She will be on later when we do our regular scheduled show, which happens to be our season finale. And we're going to talk about, you'll find out when it goes up. But today, we're going to talk about a subject near and dear to every Black politician, Black conservative, Black reporter, Black anchor, and the Hotep down there in Harlem, 125th Street. Oh, and I forgot about the white liberal. You know us. We're on the war with the white liberal right now. And that is Black on Black crime. And I am gracious enough to be joined by a fellow podcaster on our podcast series. And I'm going to allow her to introduce herself, tell her what she talks about, and then dive right in, because Black people need to get told today.
Yeah, my name is Sandra, and I am from the I Got Problems podcast, and we are fairly new ourselves. We're 4 months old in the podcast world, but I feel like I'm learning everything pretty quickly, and I'm just like kind of thrown into it. I couldn't swim, and now I'm learning how to paddle a little bit. So it's been fun so far, and it's nice to meet fellow podcasters like Hit Gravity over here, and like we all share somewhat the same opinion, and we also challenge each other. So it's nice to be here today. And of course, if you're looking to listen to our thing, it's just at I Got Problems Pod on IG and Twitter, and I Got Problems Podcast basically on any other platform. We have like 11 or 12 of them, so you can pretty much listen to it anywhere. But yeah, I think the information will probably be posted somewhere later on. But nice to meet you all virtually, wherever you're at. I'm also live here from the Washington, D.C., Maryland area. So I can't speak for Chicago as much as passionately as Kid Gravity can. But I'm here, though. We're up in the area, the DMV. Y'all know it as the MBA, but we call it the DMV here. So, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so before we start going in on Black and Black crime, young lady, did you be from the DMV?
Huh?
Did you just say you're from the DMV?
We call it the DMV here. That's what I'm saying. Nobody else can relate.
Of things.
DC, Maryland, Virginia.
Two
DMV.
things. Yes, ma'am. Two things. One, my co-host lives in the DMV area as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I asked. And number two,
okay.
don't get mad at me, but I thought the DMV area was Delaware, Maryland, Virginia. Go ahead and yell at me.
Oh my God.
She's speechless, folk.
I mean,
yes, ma'am. That's what I thought.
Today and not say that again. That is going to be the ultimate takeaway from this. Is you leave here and it's DC, District of Columbia.
Look, you know what it is?
Where the 45th lives. That guy.
Yes.
Or doesn't live.
Yeah, I had grandparents that lived in Delaware. Yeah, my grandparents lived in Delaware. And yeah. I always heard Southern accents down there, so that's why I always thought that was the same area, because they're so close together.
Right.
Because basically from where they were in Wilmington down to, I guess, Baltimore was maybe an hour. So I figured it was the same area. Don't get mad at me. What the hell?
No, it's fine. I have a friend coming from Delaware this coming weekend, and it's not that far. It's maybe an hour and a half, maybe at most 2 with traffic. So it's not that bad. And we're all kind of New Jersey, Philly, Delaware, DC, Virginia. We're all kind of so intertwined. People get confused. But DC is 35 minutes away from Maryland, at least the edge of Maryland where I live. And then that is about less than an hour from Virginia. So I guess we're all so close, less than an hour. So they kind of group it all together. But the others are further down away. So they get to be their own states, But I guess we're a mini tri-state area, whatever you want to call it. But, doesn't really matter for me. I mean, I've been living here for so long. I don't even think about it anymore.
Yeah, I feel you. I was actually down there last weekend filming short film. And I like y'all
Oh,
city. My wife don't because she says it's too expensive.
it is
And
for
I kind
no
of agree
reason.
with her
Absolutely.
because
I
I was
mean,
like,
education is good and the housing is good, but everything just costs so much. It's like if you want above average, better way of
mhm.
living, you're gonna have to pay way above average for it, like way above average. So you can definitely do better in other places. And
Oh
I
no, I
support.
saw some of the prices. Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw some of those prices.
unless you go to Virginia, like deep, deep
Nah,
Virginia,
dog.
like Richmond, Virginia, like West Virginia, those areas that's like 3, 4 hours away from everything, and it's all like animals and wildlife, then you'll get like a house for under
Yeah,
$300,000. But you're also not going to see people. So which one do you want?
correct.
For you,
Correct.
I'm not
Yeah,
doing
it's a
that.
gift
I'm
and a
gonna
curse.
exactly. That's dead to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get into it. Black on black crime.
Yep.
Folks, I'm how do we start this? Okay, we'll start it off like this. This morning, I had put up the post on my Instagram, Kid Gravity Beyond, and our page for the podcast. We put up I put up the same post because I run both of them. And I put up a post about Chicago. And unfortunately, them tangible niggas up there decided they forgot that you can shoot everybody in the city, but there's one segment that you forgot to shoot, and that was the children, the under 18. So, Friday, the 31st, they killed a 9-year-old.
Oh
I don't know who
gosh.
did it. Nobody's talking. Yeah. And they had the mother on TV. She was crying. Somehow everybody decided to give her well wishes, and she don't want that. She just wants to find out who killed her baby. And ironically, he died right in front of his house. So it's even worse because he died at home just trying to have a little fun on a hot day. And this isn't what's going on in Chicago right now. Nobody cares about children. And they subsequently don't even care about who they gun down. They just randomly shoot. And when I put this up, I got a message from a black man and tried to tell me that it was partly part of white supremacy. Which white supremacy, fine, we can blame them, and he could tell me they're dropping guns off and all that, fine. Still got to pull the trigger. And apparently in Chicago, on Hey Jackass, they've pulled the trigger. I'm going to put this up on the screen. On the playback, you'll just hear what I'm talking about. They've pulled the trigger. And sorry, Chrome is a little slow today, but no, I don't want to share no audio. There's no audio on the page. Anyway, Chandra can see it. This is a great stat. I go to this stat almost every 2 days just to check. That's how much people they've killed in Chicago since today. So January 1st to August 2nd, they've killed 454 people, total homicides. And including the young man that they killed on Friday, they've shot and killed 14 people. I mean, 12 people, sorry. That's bad. You shoot a little kid for what? And then they said, oh, he probably wasn't the intended target. Okay, great. That doesn't bring him back. That doesn't heal the mama. But enough ranting. I'm going to let Sandra give her opinion on this.
Yeah, I mean, this is just always like an emotional thing because even anywhere gang violence is prominent, it doesn't really matter like what age, what color, what it doesn't even. I feel as though, but I mean, wasn't there the history of how like gangs were created based on like the protection of the community or something like that? Like it wasn't just to kill people, murder, and territory. I thought it was just to protect the neighborhood because white people were doing whatever. I felt like that was where it originated. I don't know the history, but I feel like somebody had told me that. I don't know how true that is, but even though if it's not, it's like these are your. I mean, if you see your neighbor with a kid, that's pretty much your kid. I feel like in Black community, everybody's basically like family, like, and everybody, I don't know. I'm also thinking like Baltimore being close here. It's like when you go to the Baltimore area, they do have more violence because it's like the inner city. But you see a lot more people are engaging with each other, almost like their family. People live there all their lives. Auntie Titi down the street from here until you get married and have your own kids, and maybe get a house across the street from her. Like it's like that. So it's kind of amazing to me that you have children being caught up in this whole gang violence thing, and not even gang violence, maybe just being trying to reiterate or trying to prove a point to somebody else, or just trying to, oh, you did me wrong, so I'm gonna blah 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 and take a life. I mean, at what point do we draw the line? I guess, I mean, you shouldn't kill anybody, but children, I mean, at what point? And it's been happening. It's not like this is the first child that's been killed. We also have police brutality on kids. That one kid that was playing with a toy gun in the playground and just got shot. I feel like it's not just Black people doing that with themselves, but we also have that in general. Black children are dehumanized, where Black children, before you get to a certain age, are seen as adult in non-Black people's eyes. So it's like, if we know these things, and we're here yelling, and protesting, it's like, how can you now go back home into your own community and pull a trigger willy-nilly that could possibly hit somebody that could be your kid? What happens if it's your kid? Then what do? Then you're like, oh, how do you don't plan for your kid to be running across the street while you're trying to catch the person who did you wrong or something. Like, you don't plan for somebody else's kid to be in the neighborhood. And I know nobody walks into a house. Actually, they probably do, but not a lot of people walk into a house, pull a gun, and be like, mom, dad, and baby. Like, it doesn't happen often enough, or that I hear often enough, because I still believe in humanity a little bit. Mm-hmm. But I feel like if it is accidental, why do these accidents? At what point does accidental become on purpose? Like, how many accidents do you have to have of it wasn't meant to be the kid, it wasn't meant to be that person XYZ, and then how many times do you do that before it's like, oh wait, this is actually a problem? Or is it just not seen as a problem, it's just seen as the culture, it's just the way of life, it's just, oh, it happens, shit happens? Is that how they view it? I guess that's where I'm stuck at. It's just like, when do we eventually come together and think maybe we need to figure it out? And yes, Black on Black crime, I don't believe Black on Black crime is a thing. I do believe that there's crime in every, community and every race. Listen, yes, we'll talk about that. I do believe. Remember our podcast post when I posted?
Wait, whoa, wait a minute. I gotta stop sharing the screen. Wait a minute.
Yep.
I want your face big. There it is. Okay, wait a minute. Say what you just said again.
I don't believe that Black on Black crime is a thing. I do believe that it's an occurrence, but an occurrence like killing people within your own community happens in everyone's community. I do believe that putting the name Black on Black crime is a type of propaganda to take away the idea that other races are killing each other within their own communities as well. That's problematic. If you're going to have people who are killing each other within different communities, then I'm on a podcast. Why are you bothering me?
Ooh, we gotta cut that out.
Yeah, like it's on live and she keeps knocking on the door.
We gotta cut that out. Wait a minute. I'm gonna when I put it up on my audio, I'm gonna have to put like that.
That was the third time, and I thought that eventually, they will stop because no response.
Listen,
and like, you should have just anyway.
Listen, there's an invention on the door with the knob. There's a little thing that you turn it about 90 degrees. I don't know what it is. That little thing just stops.
That's the problem. It's locked. She's doing this until.
How did they get in? They got the key?
They're not in. They're just knocking on the door until I open it. It's locked. That's what I'm saying.
Nah.
When
you make it, you know what? I heard some of your stuff, and you guys do good content. When you make it, you should get one of those neon signs that says "on air," and you gotta teach your kids. Listen, when that is on, leave me alone.
This is my 24-year-old sister. This is an adult. Okay? Like, I don't even know.
Nah. Give it. You know what you do? Give it a Netflix password. Go sit down and watch the old dog.
I don't need too many people blocking my Netflix screen time. No, that's dead. But yeah, eventually she's like, I could have said that so I could interrupt my podcast just to tell you to stop knocking. I could have said that, really. But anyway,
you should tell them to take the kids for a walk.
Honestly, There is. It is a nice day, but they just have to bother me.
Yeah.
Like it's annoying at this
Okay.
point. You literally
Yeah,
have to.
but let's get back into it. You
But
said
yeah.
black on
So
black
yes,
crime is not
black and black
is a
crime.
myth.
Yeah, yeah. My big thing about black and black crime though is that I think a lot of people they focus this. It's like almost like they try to give it a name to kind of put this
Mm-hmm.
bigger negativity on it, like a bigger, like, here's the flashlight on this one thing. Meanwhile, the same thing is happening over here, but the flashlight is over here. Like, I feel like that's unfair to the community. It also makes us look bad. I mean, we already have so much on us from the beginning, and it makes us look bad. We actually, our previous podcast episode was, can you say the word nigga or nigger with the hard R? Like, who can say it and should you say it at all? And we learned that the definition actually of the word nigger with the hard R is like ignorant, basically slow.
Yes, it's a stupid, ignorant person.
Basically. And that name didn't come up because a bunch of black people who couldn't speak English came up with that themselves. Who came up with it? European people who decided, you know what, not only is black is not enough. We got to call them something even more dehumanizing, more like to make them, put them in their place, let them know you are way beneath us. And that's something they came up with. That's why it's so offensive, because it's derogatory. But for us, I feel like when we start using black on black crime casually, we're basically accepting the way we've been described. And if black on black crime is not happening, in such a way that it supersedes the rest, let's if we want to, we'll probably have to talk about the stats later, but I mean, white on white crime, if it's a thing, because apparently you don't hear white on white crime often. Do you hear Latin on Latin crime? Do you hear Spanish on Spanish
yeah,
crime?
well, we
don't hear these
white on
things.
white
We
crime
don't hear
is
Asian
more
on Asian
by,
crime.
but yeah,
That's
white on
what I'm
white
saying.
crime is more by
It's
volume.
way more, at least by 1,000. Like I just said, I was looking at the FBI page for 2016 alone. It was at least, it superseded black on black crime by 1,000, and that's within the community. So why does black on black crime have a title and white on white crime isn't a thing?
I can explain that.
Yes, and I want to hear.
Explain
that's why I don't feel like it's a thing. If there's a crime within every community and every community is causing damage upon each other, why does only one group have a title to describe what's going on there? Why isn't it just crime within the community? Why isn't it a generalized term to describe every race having crime within their community? That's what I want to know, because it's not fair to have black people even, pushed down even further than we already are. Giving it black on black crime is making it seem like we're the only ones that have this issue. It makes it seem like we kill each other more than other people kill us, and that's not true. So, like, I want to hear the different reasoning as to why that exists to begin with. But to me, it shouldn't exist and it shouldn't be a thing. As long as crime exists within other communities, black on black crime shouldn't be a thing.
Okay.
So.
Okay, so let's start from way back in the past. When you brought up the gangs, yes. The gangs were originally the Bloods and the Crips and the Vice Lords to a certain extent, and the GDs. They were brought together to basically they were neighborhood watch. They were making sure that other races didn't infiltrate into our neighborhoods. And they also promoted, initiatives that helped stimulate the community. Food pantries, like what the Panthers did. They started the breakfast programs. The Bloods and the Crips, they were putting together community events like basketball tournaments and things like that, because they wanted to keep the money.
I heard that. Where's that at anymore?
Right. What happened was the introduction in the 70s and 80s of the drug trade started introducing drugs as a quick way to get money. And then what ended up happening was you had those fools that decided to say, oh, you know what, I want to control this. So then it became over drugs. And drugs basically destroyed their message. I mean, I do have to give the Bloods and Crips credit now. They are trying to change it now. They're trying to have one side do the drugs and all that.
Planted by the FBI?
No, there were some. There was a report that said they were doing that, but by and large, a lot of them were. It was mostly the Asians that came over because they needed to establish a drug haven in the U.S. So it originally started
in the Black community
in the West Coast. No, it really started in the West Coast in their communities and started filtering down. They need to get the money there. They need to get the drugs to a bigger audience. So first they went over to the whites, but the whites didn't want to do it. So then they went to the blacks and the Latinos, and the blacks and Latinos started doing trade with them until the Latinos figured out they could just do it themselves. They'll just get it from their own people. So then they stopped doing that. So who was left? It was just black people, and they saw that there was more supply, so they just kept doing it. Maybe one day next season we'll talk about that. But back to what you were saying about the black on black crime moniker. They call it black on black crime, and I know a lot of people don't think of it like this. They call it that because you're right. Each community has their own crime against their own people, because usually when you live in a community surrounded by mostly who you are, yes, your crime is going to be higher against your own person.
Who else is there?
Here's the thing with right. Here's the thing with black people though. Our black on black crime starts infiltrating other communities. So we'll say, okay, we say you live in the hood, you'll shoot each other. Okay, fine. That's isolated. You take an area like Chicago now. Now, Chicago is 1/3 white, 1/3 black, 1/3 Latino. It's becoming an issue now because not only the South Side is mostly blacks and Latinos and poor whites, they can isolate that. The problem is with Chicago now, since this inept mayor got there, they're starting to infiltrate the north side. And the north side is more of the affluence. So now you have black people up there, but you also have affluent Latinos, the affluent Asians, the affluent Caucasians, and the affluent other races. Now it's starting to creep up there. So now it's becoming a problem. Here in New York, where I live, yes, we have crime in the black communities. They're starting to bring that over to the gentrified communities, that they want crime out. They're reintroducing the crime in there now. Now it's becoming an issue. Like where I'm near Bedford-Stuyvesant, before the 2000s, that was straight black. They built it up. So now you have all races over there. They're starting to creep it up there now. It's got bad. They just killed a teenager there the other day at a memorial for another teenager that got killed. Oof. So now, and I'm also lived near Crown Heights, and Crown Heights was one of the first places that got gentrified in the city. So you have nothing but brownstone. Everybody's brownstone is worth over $1 million. And there was you barely heard about Crown Heights having crime. I mean, the worst you probably heard over there was occasional robbing or somebody getting run over by a car. Now you're seeing shootings now. So now all those concerned people that bought their properties, now they're voicing concerns. And then black on black crime started coming back up again.
Right. I can see.
Yeah, I mean, if you put an investment, that's where black on black crime. See, a lot of people don't think about that. Black on black crime is messing with people's money. Now that's why they're bringing attention to it. When you have white on white crime.
No, white on white crime is a thing. It's pretty big. I also feel like they hide theirs more, and they have more.
No, it's a pretty big thing, but it just messes with them.
Yeah, right. I mean, kind of messes with
they're
us,
affecting themselves.
Yes, it's not just white on white crime. It's just white on black crime. I mean, it's more like they systematically trying to eradicate us through other means. So that's a different category. But I do think like part of the reason why all of that is happening is because when you kind of put people when you push people's back to a wall, they tend to do the unthinkable. And I think that gentrification is a big aspect of like pushing people out and pushing them into an area, almost like, I guess they label it the ghetto. So and I don't know why every time they happen to push a bunch of minorities into one area, it's labeled the ghetto. Like, why can't it be something more affluent or nice? Like, why is it like, so they
label it a ghetto because the black people that have the money leave. So you're basically taking black dollars out of a black community.
Right. And when you have a bunch of poor people, what do? Out of desperation, they do the unthinkable or the thinkable, I guess, or the predictable. They do what it takes to survive. And I'm not saying that it's not their fault. I'm also saying it's not all their fault, because when you're put in a place, that's why you see a lot of crimes come from inner cities. You don't see a lot of suburban crimes. But when you go into certain areas and all you have is almost nothing, you have to fend and you have to fight for things. And when one person has one thing, you feel like, oh, now you want that thing, and then you start fighting for, it's like not enough resources, and then everybody's struggling for the little resources that's left because the resource that used to be there was taken away or gentrified away into another area. and you were left behind, or really just kicked out or pushed out from the community. That's what's happening in DC right now. I went to school there for like 6 years, and I stayed there, and I went back, and I'm like, what is this? What is this place? Like, it's just so, even the places I used to walk down the street and go to the bars, it's filled with like Dress Barn and like all these white places. I'm like, what the heck happened here? And you see that one black place that's still standing, holding on to dear life. And like, when will it be gone? Because I don't know if I'm going to come back next week and it's still going to be here. I don't know. That's what's happening. And where are all the black people going? When I was in school, I saw them pay each person and break down their houses to build a large apartment complex where they're charging people $5,000 just to be at the rooftop. And you still have no parking. You still got to pay for street parking. Yeah. So it's like, how is that okay? And the black people who used to live there, who had homes, I remember what the homes looked like. They had individual homes right next to the school, and then now those homes are combined into one gigantic apartment complex. Where are those people? Where were they at? And where have they gone? So wherever they've gone, you don't think that area is probably filled with a bunch of people who don't have enough. If they were poor enough to allow themselves to sell their home, the one investment that they had within their own community, what could they possibly be doing now with their lives? And what do they have left? So within that community alone, you have to now think, okay, how do they fend? How do they survive? And then you think crime isn't going to just come up. It's definitely going to come up. That's survival mechanism. And it sucks that it has to spread into other communities. But when you're done taking from your own community, where else do you go? Somewhere else. There's nothing else left within your own community because y'all sucked each other dry. You got to go somewhere else. And that's what happens when you're pushed to the wall. Like, it's connected and it's systematic. And people don't think about the reasoning behind why certain things happen. They're just thinking, it's taking my money, it's affecting my business, it's affecting my family, it's blah, blah, blah. And they just want the problem fixed. But it's like, where did the problem come from? People want solutions, but they don't want to actually deal with the entire solution. They want quick solutions. Yeah, you can kick a bunch of black people out, put them in jail, but the problem is still going to keep occurring. And the black on black crime is still going to keep being labeled black on black crime. So how do we really fix the problem when people don't even want to understand where it originated, or they don't want to accept that that's where it originated? They don't want to accept, because that means you have to take responsibility. And people who take responsibility, that means they have to actually fix the problem. And nobody wants to go down that road. It's too much work. It's too much brain power.
Well, look, we if you go back in our archives, I scream accountability all the time. I always say that the only way we're going to fix our problems is men have to take 50% of the responsibility and women have to take 50% of the responsibility. That way nobody can blame anybody.
And they're not going to do that. It's so difficult to do that.
I know they won't. I know because you'd have to humble yourself. But as seen over the years, men have done, either willingly or unwillingly, have to take the blame for what's going on in our community. You have the rise in gun violence, it's on the men. You have the rise of of kids running around without dads, it's on the men. You have the rise of why gentrification happens, it's on the men. We don't build family, it's on the men.
It's the patriarchal expectations of society. It's more so, well, you're the man. You want to be the head of household. One, where you at? Why are you not within your family? Why are you not protecting your children that you had? And then it's, why are you committing these crimes? Why is that your only resort? Mind you, there are reasons as to why.
Well, I have yeah. Well, number one, the government doesn't want us to be in the home because it's harder to control and get things passed with a man.
I heard that somewhere. How it was a whole plan to make sure that the black family.
Oh yeah, you can. I'll give you some names like Thomas Sowell and Larry Elder. You look them up. They've been saying the thing for 30 years.
Yeah.
Shahzad Ali. We plan to do a show next season about her. She was screaming that since the 80s. And I have a clip on my Instagram. When she went on she went on Sally Jesse Raphael, and she told this woman trying to ask her a question. She said, the reason why black men leave you is because you're too hard to get along with. She didn't have a response. You just see everybody in the audience, they just couldn't believe she said that.
Wait, she said the reason why black men leave you, like black women?
No, she said black men. The reason black men leave black women is because
she's perpetuating the prejudice and the stereotype. She's perpetuating this shit. People like that drive me crazy because it's like, where do you even get that?
Look, you could say that, but I had a lot of people agree with what she said.
No, and
you could even look on the thread.
I can
You can understand.
why
I
they
mean, I can
agree.
understand where she's coming from.
Right. Like she could have said it in a better way, but I understand why they agree. But it's like
That
that's
was
not
the problem with her, especially with her book. Everybody got mad because the way she wrote it and the way she phrased it, and she had the legendary line of, "If the woman don't listen, give them an open hand slap in the mouth." I got now. Wait a minute before you drop your. So when you hear this on the audio, she didn't drop her jaw. I'm going to explain why. I'm going to explain why people had a problem with it, and I explained this to people when they asked me why I put this up and why did I agree with it. I agreed with it for this one reason. Most of the women that got mad at that were one thing. I want to see if Sandra will pick it up. Why do you think black women got mad at that line? And it's probably a reason why you don't think. It's probably a reason why you wouldn't expect.
why they agree or didn't agree with her.
Right.
I mean, maybe because maybe they're in a situation where they're like single parents or something. I don't know. Are they the single parenthood community? I don't know. Because the single parenthood is affluent in the black community. They're like number
Had
one.
nothing to do with that. Has nothing to do with that.
Or are they single?
Because but quite as it's kept, there's many married women that have been slapped around by their husband. That's the reason.
So
it's a very simple reason. It's a very simple reason.
Dang.
Conflict of religion.
What?
Miss Shahrazad Ali practices Islam.
Oh.
Most of the women that got mad at her were Christian.
Oh, so they're saying
Christianity does not promote violence against their women. Islam does.
Oh, it does.
In a household where there's a man and a woman married, or you have the radicals now to any woman, but the main tenet of Islam is there's supposed to be an understanding between the man and the woman. If the woman gets out of line,
huge power, like
right. So a bunch of Christian women saw what she wrote, got mad, and tried to boycott the book. And a lot of people don't know that.
I could see that. I'm a Christian myself,
right?
And I wouldn't say it's because of Islam. I would say it's because no woman should be hit. Because I'd be like, wait a minute, But also, if she's quoting something and she's saying, if it's not her own words and she's quoting something else, that's just her quoting something else. But if she's quoting something,
it's her words that in the book. She's the one that wrote it. But again, she's writing. That's her book. No, it's her book. But again, she's quoting from an Islamic side. So
Islam people are not going to believe that. They're not going to agree to that. So I can see, like, if you're a woman and you don't want to get hit, it shouldn't even be based on your religion. You should just agree simply because you don't believe in being hit as a woman. But the people who are based on religion, it's like, oh, so what? Like, that's all you got? And I don't like when people use religion because people pick and choose what they want in religion to support. They never actually go the whole way. Like, if you're going to say
this is why I have a problem with Christianity.
Yeah, like you need to go the entire way. Like, and if somebody calls me out and being a hypocrite, I'll be like, you know what? You're right. Let me get my shit together. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm going to make sure from now on I walk in this path. But if somebody calls you out because you're following the A part of the religion and not the B, and then you want to be all defensive, and it's like, okay, you know what? You're a lost cause because obviously you decided that this part of the religion suits you, and so that's what you're going to go with. It's like the whatchamacallit, the first part of the Bible and the second part of the Bible, and like, oh, okay, I'm just going to do New Testament, Old Testament. I like the Old Testament better than the New. It's all in one Bible. You can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna just throw this whole part of the Bible out. Like, you don't get to do that. Like, you didn't write the Bible. So if you're gonna read something and make that your entire morals, like,
unless you're that word that I can't say because I'm gonna get flagged. It starts with a J, ends with an H.
Oh,
that's all I'm gonna say.
Well,
yes, I can't say that word because I will get flagged.
They do, and you don't want to be called an anti-Semitic person. Blah, blah, blah,
so. I mean, I didn't say anything. No, well, I mean that's known fact. They don't follow the New Testament.
It's true. It's true. That's their based on. And that's one thing. That's why one reason I couldn't follow in that religion, because I'm like, look, the Bible is a whole book. I don't get to rip it in half and do what I want to do with the other half. Like, I have to do the entire thing. And there are parts of the Bible where I'm confused and I'm like, what? You said what? Like, huh? But it's like, it's still in the Bible. And granted, I still have my disbelief as the fact that, oh, the entire Bible was written by a bunch of religious people. I do believe part of the Bible was written by non-religious people and people who are just following orders, because it's human made. Human beings are just, they're human beings, you know, like there's flaws. Right. So I do believe, you know, we got to really be careful, you know, on areas. There are people today where if the Bible said, go kill your friend, they'd be like, but it said that in the Bible, you know, like I got to do it. And there are people like that, but it's like, just believe what you believe, but don't be a hypocrite in your belief and don't expect other people.
How religious are you?
Like for one, I'm the religious person who will do like Sunday church. And I'll keep like a Sunday church.
I can equate, right? I only ask that because I can say that the Black pastors have they have to take a little bit of this responsibility for this Black on Black crime.
Oh my goodness, they do not. They really do not, and it's a problem with the
I know they don't as well. But we have to call them. I have to call them to the carpet because back in the day,
but they'll be the first ones to look at you like you crazy. They'll be the first ones to be like, please, you know, miss me with
that. Pastors. I know y'all just went back to church. I'm finna take y'all to church again. This is the night service for y'all. Check this out. Back in the day, the real pastors, they used to be in the community, walk around. They had a business in the community. They knew what was going on. Them gang members started acting up. Guess what? They had the gang members in the pulpit. They were sitting there. They were talking to them. They put them guns down. Them pastors today, oh, no. Them pastors run over there to them white people. Or they go to the middle class Black folk, and then they come down to the hood and give you y'all's commercial message. And guess about what they got in the building fund today? What was it, like the 4th week they done opened up in New York? Let me do the quick math. Probably got about 15,000 right now because you know all them Black people were holding their money since Easter. That's right. I'm making jokes today because I have a thing about the Black pastor, and we've done a couple shows on Christianity. And the Black pastor pisses me off. Because you can make money out of the hood, but you ain't putting money back in the hood. That's right. I said it.
That is a problem. And that's also another problem.
If y'all would really, if Black pastors really cared about this Black on Black crime,
they're also afraid of that community.
Y'all would have been up at the mayor's office out there in Chicago. Yeah. Y'all would have been up at the mayor's office in Chicago telling them, listen, unless you want them to start spraying bullets on your block, you better go do something. Don't let that white man down there in Washington do something. Because then guess what? That's going to happen when the white man down in Washington does something. He's going to show. Yeah, but guess what else is going to happen? They're going to show Black people are incompetent. We can't handle our own problems.
That's what they were doing with the protests. When the protests were really active. Showing a bunch of
guess what? This is why you don't have Black commissioners. Oops. This is why they don't give you Black commissioners. Or they gave you that superintendent in Chicago. They're calling him incompetent now. They're blaming everything on him.
The one with Breonna Taylor, where he refuses to convict.
Oh, the AG. Oh, they're blaming this man because this man decided to go get. Oh no, you think it was because?
Yeah, he got married. He was celebrating his wedding vows and everything. Oh, and not a Black person in there. I was like, where's your family though? Where's your parents? Are they all dead or what? I see one Black person, but like literally all her family, and you could tell like they've been brainwashed. Like it's like, look, if you need help,
they're probably white girls, so it's all good.
I mean, it makes sense as to why
y'all got what y'all wanted. She might get justice, might not. But this is just to show you how much black crime don't matter. Guess what happened this week that it went under the radar that nobody reported on?
What?
Oh, I shouldn't say that. Some people reported on. Oh yeah. Oh, it was huge, and this concerns where we're gonna go into next.
Black Lives Matter. I remember Hillary Clinton was like being taken.
No.
Nobody even knew about it. Wait, are you talking about
the? It has nothing to do with white.
Whatchamacallit, where they were trying to kill the judge and his son.
Not even that. Not even that.
Oh,
not even that. No, it has to do with Black people, but a lot of Black people didn't even know this happened. And that's why I said it has something to do with Black Lives Matter.
Dang, I must have missed it.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you. Watch this. What's one of the big names of why Black Lives Matter started? What's one of the names?
Whatchamacallit? Dang, there's so many names that I forgot. I know it wasn't George Floyd. It
Mm.
was oh
No, it
god.
wasn't. No, it's nothing to do with Brother George. Nope.
I'm losing the name, but I know it was little boy with the hoodie and the Skittles. I forgot his
Not
name.
him. Not even him.
Not him?
Even him. Mm-mm.
Dang, all the way
Mr.
back.
Michael Brown. No, Mr. Michael Brown. Guess what happened this week?
Another one? Don't tell me it's another one.
No.
Oh.
Darren Wilson is not going to get indicted.
What?
The feds aren't indicting Darren Wilson.
Why?
Because they took what St. Louis did. I mean, what Ferguson did. They did their own independent investigation. Found nothing wrong.
Okay. I mean, and this is why I don't even get.
That's why I said I'm bringing up Black Lives Matter into this.
I don't even get my hopes up anymore when because they say we're going to put them to court. It's like, okay, well, let me know when you put them in jail, because if you're going to take them to court and you have a jury of their own peers, they're going to tell this guy he ain't doing nothing wrong.
Well, I'm going to get controversial with you a little later about that, and I'm going to follow you down that hole. You don't have to follow me down that hole. You can tell me I'm full of crap. But to speak on Black Lives Matter, this is all their fault. I'm going to tell you why.
Because of the movement?
I'm going to tell you why. Yeah, I'm going to tell you why. They've been in existence for 4 years. We'll call it 6, really, because they say it started when Michael Brown got killed.
Right.
So we'll say 6. The fact that crime has gotten worse from that between that 6-year period says a lot about an organization that says that they're trying to combat police brutality and crime and trying to give Black people better opportunities in the Black community.
Well, how is that their fault?
Nothing.
They're not making people commit crimes.
You know how it's not their fault? Because they're more worried about the cops than they're worried about their own neighborhoods. If Black Lives Matter really cared, they would have chapters in Chicago, St. Louis, Dallas, Houston, LA, New York, Atlanta, Miami. And if they do, how come they're not visible? As if they only show up.
I don't know why I thought that it was the chapters that were initiating the protest. I thought the chapters in the different states were the ones who were initiating the protest, and different countries who were fighting for the movement as well. I didn't know.
You see what you just said? But you see what you just said? They initiated it due to the protests.
And that's it? Okay. You're saying that's all they're doing.
Remember, too, there was a lull between George Floyd and the last shooting before that. Where was their initiatives to combat this or make sure the cops don't do this again?
I mean, they're not perfect. I'll say that for sure. They are.
I understand they're not perfect. And that's been my main contention.
I feel like they also have like a large flashlight, like I said, but they can't seem to shine it on everything at once. I feel like they pick and choose and they focus, which is not fair to all the other things happening. But if they had the multiple abilities to do all of that, or they utilize the multiple sources that they have to do what they have to do, maybe all these things will all be in the face of the media at once and not just one movement. Because that's another thing with the George Floyd. We were all like, look, Black Lives Matter is not about George Floyd. I don't know how many tweets I saw and how many posts I saw that saying, guys, don't forget, this movement is not a George Floyd movement. It's for every other Black person who's gone through this whole thing. But for some reason, we ended up putting it all about George Floyd. You see how all the celebrities were donating to his family and his kids? I was like, they're not the only ones who had something happen due to police brutality. Like all these other people who came before him, they were the originators of this movement. Their lives also matter. Sandra Bland's lives also matter. But why is his family the one receiving literally 90% of the funds? And where's that money going to? His family? What are they going to do with it? Are they going to our foundations? Are they going to spend the money?
Because he touched a celebrity. No, because George Floyd touched a celebrity. That's why they did it.
I forgot. Was it Kanye West? I don't remember.
Stephen Jackson. No, Stephen Jackson, the former basketball player. That's the only reason why he got that much coverage. But check this out. I want to see if you're going to follow this line of thinking. So there was you remember the whole Dallas thing a few years ago when they shot those cops? And that's when they did the pigs in the blanket fry like bacon.
I feel like I saw that somewhere. I don't
Yeah, that was about 5 years ago. I think it was when Sandra Bland died. They went out there and they were rioting in Dallas and they killed 5 cops.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Now, there was another shooting down there in Texas. And this is the day where I said Black Lives Matter is BS. They shot someone, right? Cop shot someone. They threatened the commissioner, or I guess superintendent, I don't know what they call it, the top cop down there. They threatened him. They said, this happened like, I think like a Wednesday. They came out Friday and said, if this cop isn't put down, if y'all don't fire this cop in 48 hours, Monday we're going down there, we're going to riot. Oh. The top cop said, okay, I'm going to raise your ante. I fired him Saturday morning. Then he said, I dare you to come down here now. They didn't move. Okay. Didn't move. Now, mind you, when this happened, there was at least almost a year no cop shot another black person. That was Black Lives Matter. You know what they did in that 1 year? When they should have had chapters in these black communities that I mentioned, trying to get some money infused in there so they can try to at least put a dent in it. They got a Nobel Peace Prize.
Really?
They got a Nobel Peace Prize. They got Time Magazine. Yeah, look it up. It was the same year Obama got his.
Oh,
yeah. They got a Nobel Peace Prize.
Well,
Didn't move. Now I find out that they're a PAC now, so they have political power. So now they went from a social movement to a political movement.
Interesting.
Ask me how much money they got. I
don't know.
Probably in a year. No, since they started becoming a PAC, they got over $300 million.
What?
Guess where that money goes? To the Democratic Party. I did a show with your DMV mate the other day.
Damn.
That $300 million that could have been used for black folks, guess where that's going for? To get Trump out of office. That's why I said, if that man gets back in, BLM is going to disappear. Watch what I tell you, because they're made on their website, and you can go check the three chicks on their Twitters. Their main thing is they said the main thing of BLM right now is to get Trump out of office. They don't give a damn about black people. They never did. That's why you
convince themselves that getting Trump out of office means better things for black people. They're convinced that due to Trump is why everything negative is happening to black people within the last.
Here's the thing. And somebody from BLM got mad at me because I said this. I said, okay, fine. You guys can go get Trump out of office. I don't give a damn. You can go do that. If you're going to blame Trump for this, ask me why before Obama left office, Chicago had their worst year ever with 808 people dead. Explain that. If you want to go by the numbers, every year Trump's been in office, the crime went down.
And I hate to admit it, but then it's like at the same time, it's also focused on the negativity of everything he brings.
They don't like him because you know why they really don't like him? Yeah. Well, he does bring out emotion.
Yeah, and he brings.
Remember when Obama was in? Weren't black people so protective of that man?
They were like, protect him at all costs.
They would fight you. They would fight you if you didn't like Obama.
Yeah,
I was on that plane too. I
loved him simply because he was.
I wasn't into politics like that. I liked Obama.
That was my first vote, my first legal vote. The minute I was able to vote, I went ahead and voted Obama. So like, even then, It's like I liked him because it's like I felt like I could see somebody like me in office, and by automatically seeing somebody like you in office, you assume they're looking out for you. But you also have to remember they're politicians first. Yeah, they're politicians first.
Exactly.
That. When you're young, you're like, that's my president, like.
I hear that from the wife every other day. Obama's my president. I was like, okay, cool. And guess what? After the past election, I voted for Hillary. I'll admit it, because I didn't trust Trump.
I mean, because
I was like, he had no political problem.
I wouldn't have voted for Trump. I would rather not vote at all and be that person than vote for Trump.
I can't.
I voted for Hillary because I was like, she's going to be the first woman president. I don't mind I don't care what race it is. I just want us to finally move away from this 44 white male presidents. Like, can we at least, other countries have moved forward. It's 2020. Can we step, to a different platform and show inclusivity, and also like we're open to not just having this patriarchal society? And America went ahead and said, nope, we'd rather have him than her.
But you know why, right? Because as much as what Trump said during his campaign, he didn't piss off white women enough.
Not enough.
White women still wouldn't even vote for themselves.
What would we have had to say to have pissed them off at this point? Like, what does it take to get a white woman? You want me what
you know what he would have said that would have lost him the election? And I made a joke about this.
What? He take away Yelp?
I said
reviews.
No. Nah. Can't do that. That's freedom of speech. He don't want that smoke. No, this is what he should have said. If he didn't really want to win, this is what he should have said. As soon as I get into office, I want all white men to take their women into the street, sit them on their knees. No, sit them on their knees. He pulls his pants down, and every white man in America gets fellatio. That's what he should have said.
What? How
would have lost the election?
Be like,
no, he would have lost the election. No, he would have lost the election.
But white women. This man was raping women and like talking about.
No.
He
did not rape. No.
The president. I remember seeing all these things about proof and articles and stuff.
It just proof. Those chicks are lying. Those chicks are lying.
You agree that they were lying?
No, they disproved it. They were lying.
They came out. Oh, but how do you know that? I think I remember seeing them come out to say they did it. I mean, they didn't do it or they didn't mean it, but I also think they were paid off. Like, you don't believe when they get paid off?
No, they said they found out they were lying. They got money and they tried to talk. That's what happened with Stormy Daniels. They tried to talk. She tried to talk.
So somebody paid them to lie, is what you're saying?
No, they got paid off, and now that he's visible again and he's getting attention, just like Stormy Daniels, what happened was she signed an NDA. And then she started talking.
So then didn't he do it? Even if they signed an NDA, he still
think of it like
them. It's just like they signed a contract to say they can't talk anymore because they got paid off. Doesn't mean that the action didn't happen. Doesn't mean it's not true. It just means you legally can't. That logic, they sold their rights and they sold their soul, but the action still happened. If they have to sign a whole contract talking about, yeah, I raped you, but you can't talk about this shit. I mean, sounds like
but then they okay, well, if we want to talk about that subject, we can talk about Me Too too. We can talk about Me Too too. Me Too started by a black man.
I co-sign that. That movement because that shit needed to happen. That shit really needed to happen. Wasn't that how
I co-signed it to a certain extent? I co-signed it to a certain extent.
I mean, we understand that there are always liars within every group, and there are always people who just want the clout. And
that's when I had a problem with it. When there was more chicks, what killed it for me was with that chick that tried to get Aziz Ansari messed up. That's what killed it for me.
I mean, there's always that one person.
She had a bad, but see, that was big. That put a lot of dirt on the movement, and then you had feminists running against that movement and then switching sides.
It is so
much chicken war.
Damn, can we just win one thing without y'all acting so stupid? Is it that difficult? Can we just
because they always say controversy creates cash.
Oh my God. And that's the same with the black community.
Dysfunction,
white women, the same with black women, black men. Like, if we're finally getting a head up.
Let's get back to black on black crime. I don't want to talk about white people. I don't want to talk about white people all day. What? See? This is what they do. This is what white people do.
I mean, your name and that's what the feminism movement isn't the same when we have white women leading it, because they always do their own shit and they never include black women. Feminism is not the same when you completely exclude black women.
Never for you guys. Well, feminism was never for you.
It wasn't, and I need people to understand that. If you want to be all
for never get it. See, the thing with feminism helps give black women visibility. They're never going to get rid of it. White women can drop feminism tomorrow and go create families and generational wealth, and they'll be happy as hell.
Right.
Black women are not going to do this, which goes back to black on black crime, because without fathers, like I mentioned in the beginning, this is what you have. You have gangs targeting the young boys. pimping out the young girls. You're bringing more crime into the neighborhood because we already know daddy ain't gonna let you sell no drugs in the hood, in his house. Ain't gonna happen.
How can you do that? How can you let your own people that are big? I mean, people also pimp out their own siblings. You know, it's like, how can you? Why? Yeah, like people that.
If I'm bringing home $200 a day to mama, you think she gonna kick me out? Hell no. If I bring home $200 to dad, he gonna whoop my ass, take the $200, tell me to go back to go give it back to who you got it from, and then I gotta go back to the house and get my ass whooped again. And then he gonna tell me, listen, you do this shit again, you're not coming back in my house. I disown you. Mama ain't gonna disown no kid.
Yeah. So
I mean, and quiet as it's kept, you want to talk about black on black crime, and I know you said it's a myth, but let's talk about it. Let's talk about the molestation. That's black on black crime.
Oh no,
nobody want to talk about that
because big problem in the black community because it's like
talk about that.
Homophobia has been deeply ingrained within the black community that even when that shit is happening in your own family, niggas won't even talk about it. They're like completely silent. Like, you know, they'll be like, oh, don't let Uncle Ruckus come to the house, but it's like you don't want to tell the truth about Uncle Ruckus because y'all don't want to discuss the fact that he, you know, used to molest, you know, little Annie over there. Like, you know, it's pretty disgusting to me. And I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, all we can do is put it out there and be like, y'all need to start calling your relatives.
No, this is what you need to do. You can call it out all you want. It's not gonna change. Guess what? You got to do what everybody else did. Stephen Collins molested girls. Guess what they did? Threw him in jail.
And black people refuse to do that to their own.
And you wonder why black on black crime is so high. That is a main contention to it. A lot of black on black crime, they don't want to tell you, is mental illness.
Why people do this shit all the time? They're like the number one for incest. Okay, they live in that incest world.
But see, here's the difference. Here's the difference with white people, though. White people understand that there is incest in the community. They make sure to branch themselves off of it. I just tell everybody on
the whole thing. They're trying to make dating a child a whole thing. I remember. I think they're still trying to fight for it.
And if y'all vote Biden in, it's going to happen. But that's another subject for another day. Yeah, Biden's cool with it. No, Biden's cool with it. But like I said, white people understand one thing that white people and other races besides black folk understand one thing. Yes, you look like me. But if you do dumb stuff, you're gonna get a nice little noun. No, you're gonna get a nice little noun at the end of at the end of your raise. It's called trash. White people quick
to disown you, especially if you're gonna mess with them. If you're gonna bring them down, they like cut you out. Like, bye.
Yes, but white people do not associate with that white trash.
Remember the Bill Cosby thing? How black people were still writing for him and R. Kelly? Even after what they did,
I still say Bill should come home. He didn't do nothing wrong.
No, I do think that what he did, I believe what he did was wrong, especially because he was just like I believe he admitted it. Like it was like, oh, it was so normal back then. But I don't believe that he should have been the face of the punishment because people like him did that all the time and they still are. We just caught a whole sex trafficking ring. That shit is about to go to court. Like people do that all the time. That guy was so afraid.
Listen, you don't want me to go there because I'm about to. We're gonna go there before we end the show. We're gonna go there. But what I was saying is, white people do not associate with their white trash. They don't. If they're worth a damn, they do not associate with their white trash.
And the white trash are the first ones that are bigger than the rich black people. They think that we're trash. Like, where are you getting all the confidence from? Like,
the Chinese. The Chinese do not. They understand the triads exist. They don't big them up. They don't. The Japanese government understands the Yakuza exists, and they do come out when there's times of disaster. They don't associate with them. The Hispanics understand that they have the gangs, and the gangs roam around. They say, as long as you don't make us look bad, you can go do what you need to do. We don't associate with you. Black folk are the only ones that associate with our trash. And I'm sorry for using that word on black people.
Okay,
we gotta say it.
It's what they do.
We gotta say it.
Yeah, like it's the truth.
If we're the only ones that come out with cliches talking about skin folk and skin folk is kinfolk.
But people always forget that saying when it's actually kinfolk. They forget that saying. Like if it's actually a family member, y'all want to be quiet. You know, like if you have somebody in your family who is doing something absurdly wrong, and you just keep quiet. Oh my gosh, you know what movie I just watched last night? Something Strange About the Johnsons or something. That movie.
Oh, one of them
Lord,
Tyler Perry Jones.
it was not Tyler Perry. I don't believe it was Tyler Perry.
Oh.
Bruh, the son was molesting his dad for years. Okay,
Sounds about right.
his dad caused him masturbating to a photo, and his dad was like, "Son, it's okay." In the beginning of the movie, and then when they showed the photo, he was masturbating to a photo of his dad. On his prom night, he raped his dad for the first time, and then for another 10 years, he kept raping his father. His father tried to tell the truth, and sorry, y'all, I'm giving it away. So if you plan to watch this movie, it's 30 minutes on YouTube. So but at the end of it all, the mom knew, and she was quiet for the entire time. There was even a time when the dad was being raped upstairs by the son, and he was yelling and screaming. The mom turned up the TV. She was like, "This is too loud for me."
How much you would bet someone's bringing money in? That's why she didn't say nothing.
Honestly, I don't even know what the hell.
But we know damn well.
It was a black family. It was a black family.
Well. I understand. We know damn well if that was reversed and that was a woman, everybody would have had a problem with it.
Yep.
If it was a son raping mama, everybody would have a problem with it.
And it was within the family, and it was also black family. And I think it's something people don't see all the time. You don't see males, you don't see videos or just actual people admitting what happened to them when it comes to male on male molestation or rape, because it's just that ego and that pride doesn't allow a lot of people to come forward with it. But you also see it within the black community how see it happening, and a lot of y'all don't talk, or they be like, "It's not my business. That's Uncle TT and Auntie whatever business. Please, let's keep that on that side of the family." Y'all don't say nothing. Y'all don't get that uncle arrested. Y'all try to get it happened. Y'all don't even try to get therapy. Y'all just move on with life like it never happened.
I don't know. Black people don't believe in therapy.
They don't. We had an episode about that too, of why black people don't do therapy, and it's like, y'all really need to get therapy. Like, honestly, like just. And you can get therapy where nobody knows you're getting therapy. Their therapy, you can get therapy online now. You don't have to go drive to the office and looking all weird in the waiting room. Just use your phone, get on FaceTime, and get on therapy and talk to somebody about that toxic.
I said that. I said there should be a bunch of black therapists doing a Zoom type platform. And you just have people
we always, at the end of our episode, we always talk about BetterHelp. BetterHelp has 1 month free trial. 1 month, y'all. You could probably fix your problems in 1 month if you just talk to somebody, and you get free
black owned?
Hey, I don't believe it's black owned. That's the thing. I haven't found a black.
But that's what I'm saying. There's no black owned.
No, like there are black doctors on there. It's like a platform.
No, but what I'm saying, I think if we're trying to change our makeup in society, we need to start creating things that are black straight.
I mean, to be honest, that's in the future. I mean, I have all these ideas of things, and I'm like, honestly, in the next less than 10 years, if somebody doesn't do these things, I might just do it myself. If I have the funds, creating an app is not hard. Getting investment is not hard.
I'm actually researching right now how to create a black YouTube.
Like we need to,
like a black version of YouTube.
Literally just put it in the black community, get a few black doctors who are down. You probably only need 5 to 10 black doctors who are down to just sign up, maybe do their services at a cheaper price, maybe do it only a few times in a month just to offer their services. And that's it. You get that out there.
Cash out the money if you don't want to go through insurance. Cash out the money.
I don't even mind if there's gonna be white people on there trying to offer their services, but as long as you're doing that shit for free, because reparations, like, charge people nothing, because y'all need to not be charging people.
One day I might have you back and we talk about reparations. So I'm not in favor of reparations.
You're not.
I already said it.
We talked about that.
I'm not. I'm not in favor of it because it's too much. It's too much.
Flames. It might burst into flames. If equality happened within black and white people, and the government was just like, okay, black people were going to give you 400 years of shit that we've missed so y'all can catch up, what's the world going to look like? Equality? All the white people who are fighting right now to make sure that we don't have equality, or don't believe, or they won't admit it, but that's what they're fighting for. They can't admit that they can't handle equality. If we all just end up on the same scale and there's no more power dynamic, what would happen? Can you even imagine a world like that? Like, what would really happen?
Well, there's more money in keeping black and white people separate.
Exactly. The economy.
But my thing with reparations is, here's the thing with reparations: why they'll never give it to black people, and then we'll start to end it off. The only reason why we'll never get reparations is because if you do give black people reparations, you're also going to have to give mixed people reparations, and that's going to include white people. So you're basically paying off someone that you swear is an oppressor.
The children are black, so that's where the mulatto and all that shit comes from. Most of them were raped by
right.
So
how comfortable do you really think black people are gonna find out that you're paying reparations?
We shouldn't feel that bad. some type of way because black is black.
There's gonna be, Killer Mike and T.I. and them gonna get mad.
I know there are people like, well, she only got 10% black. What? Like they're gonna start trying to measure how black we really are. But we within our community, we've got to really get to a point where we just stop doing all this nonsense. It's like, can we at least get to a point where it's like, okay, now you can start talking shit, because we're not there yet and people already doing all this. And that's why we're so divisive. How can we come together when y'all can't even get past the first step? You can't even climb past the first step without arguing within each other. They're going to look at us like they don't even know what they want.
Because black people don't listen. No, black people don't listen because see, at least when you watch other races talk, you could have two diametrically opposed people talking. They can at least agree on one thing.
Agree to disagree and be like, all right,
for that.
You believe what you believe. Exactly. I believe what you believe. All right, let's go get a beer. The end.
Right. Like I watch Steven Crowder, and he does his Change My Mind, and he brings on people that diametrically opposed to him. He presents facts, they present their facts, they come together, and then you see everybody clapping. If I brought on, let's say if I had the platform, I was large, I brought on Larry Elder, and I brought on let me see, who's the big liberal on it? Killer Mike. Well, I'll use Killer Mike as an example. I'm going to have Killer Mike going to talk if it's for an hour, he's going to talk for 40 minutes. Larry Elder is going to talk for 20 minutes. It makes sense. Killer Mike's going to talk for 40 minutes and be emotional. And then I'm going to put up the video. Everybody's going to be like, "Well, Killer Mike got him told. Yeah, Larry Elder's a coon." What? So you didn't listen. So you didn't listen to nothing this man say. You just because he's a conservative and you think he tap dance for white folk, you're not going to listen to what he said. Yet everything he said is. And this is why black on black crime, again, this is another reason why it festers, because you don't want to listen to conventional thought, because guess what happens when you listen to conventional thought that makes sense? You've got to do a 6-letter word. That's called change.
Yeah.
And black folk know how hard it is for us to change, because what was that song they had back in the day? Same as it ever was. Why would I leave the projects when I could just be W and be the man in the projects?
I get that.
I had a discussion with my parents the other day with my sister sitting there, all three of them. And my dad and I were getting my mom told because she was acting like a liberal. She's telling me, "Oh, everybody in the projects are poor." And my dad and I just looked at each other. I'm like, "Are you serious?
You can't.
You know how many bus drivers?" Right, you know how many bus drivers and how many middle management people live in the hood and live in the projects?
And people just assume by the type of job you have that you don't have enough. And it's like, where's this mindset come from? Being blue collar or something? Like, come on, like you got to stop being that ignorant. Like people are over here picking up your garbage and they're than you are.
You see how you keep listing things off, and I can keep equating it to. But you see how you keep listing things off that I can keep equating to black on black crime. No, that's another thing.
That's the thing. That's true. But at the end of the day, I still stand on my ground of crime exists within all communities, and it exists.
No, I totally agree with you on there.
So I feel like the title,
like I said, I agree with you on that.
Which is something else entirely. I just don't like the title. If we're gonna say black on black crime, I need to hear white on white crime just as often. I need to hear Asian and Asian crime just as often. We can't just pick and choose. We can't just focus on one community. It makes us look bad all the time. We have enough shit going on. We can't afford any more bad press. Like, I'm just tired of the bad press. If it's happening everywhere else, let's talk about it everywhere else too. And I think
this is probably the only point we're going to disagree on. I understand that you think black on black crime as a moniker is a myth. I don't think it is, because I understand that it's bringing attention to things. But once again, here's the problem with it. I think you would feel differently if black on black crime was used as a moniker, but black people were talking about it more, and black people were actually coming up with
solutions like a solution. It would be moving towards something fixable, but it's not. And
we're not doing it. So you're still feeling right. You're not right. We're not doing anything for it, and you feel raw about it. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, the FBI is not lying, the census is not lying. Chicago, like we said before, people are moving out in droves. They knocked down Cabrini Green back in 2000.
On black crime, if there's more white people, if the population is 70% white people, statistically there will be more white on white crime. So why is that word not being used as often as black people? And that's because it's easy to kind of pinpoint black people because we have all these negativity already within our community. That is,
and they like to bring up right, and they love to bring up white on black crime.
Of course they do. So it's like,
that up.
I mean,
like that number don't even register. That number doesn't even register.
And
It's not even close. White people are not going gunning for us.
You're right. With the whole Black Lives Matter movement, we need to admit that, hey, white people are killing us, but we're also killing each other. So if we're going to fight,
they'll never say that. See, here's the thing: they'll never say that, because guess what? The day they say that, Soros is going to cut them off.
But black on black, here's the thing: Black Lives Matter means Black Lives Matter. So within your community, if your own Black lives don't matter to yourselves, how are you going to convince other people that it does? Like, it's.
But see, you can tell Black folks that all day in the face, and they'll go right back to them cops. I'm like, okay, guess what? Guess what's going to happen? You idiots. Just said no. See what Black folk, and I want Black folk, and then we're gonna end it with this. Black folk, I really want you to listen to this right now. You idiots just created more problems for yourselves, trying to find a solution. You're talking about defunding the police. Guess what's gonna happen? Minnesota said, fine, we'll defund the police. Guess what's gonna happen? And I made this joke too on Instagram. Minneapolis is gonna become Mogadishu now. I don't care who gets mad at me saying that. You just took $1 billion. You just took millions of dollars out of them cops. So now you're gonna have a bunch of cops running around underpaid, thinking they're gonna come save you. No, they're gonna let you destroy that city. That city is gonna become Detroit West. Watch what I tell you. You're gonna do that in Chicago. You think Chicago was bad? Now give it 2 years. There ain't gonna be no white people in Chicago. The Hispanics are gonna go up to the north and they're gonna fence themselves off. Watch what I tell you. Nobody's gonna call them racist. They're gonna let you kill yourself. When Trump came on in 2017, he wanted to put the National Guard in there. They told him he was racist. Now what's happening 3 years later? Beetlejuice phase, Miss Lori Lightfoot. Now she is accepting the National Guard to come in. And guess what's happening? You had less crime. Like I said, up here in New York, y'all called Giuliani racist back in the 90s. He cleaned up New York. I got de Blasio up here now. He don't give a damn about us. He just wants to stick it to Trump all day. And he's warring with the governor right now. Crime has skyrocketed 800% up here inside since COVID dropped.
I heard that.
Oh yeah. They don't care about their health. All they're doing is shooting and stabbing up here. And guess what? The borough they're doing it in my borough, where I live in Brooklyn, the gentrified borough.
So then, of course, Atlanta, like crime is the thing. You have a bunch of white people seeing what happened, and then they're
no, white people are getting. Go look up them articles. White people are leaving. They're going upstate.
Oh, so they're moving
white
again.
Is working right now. They're done. No, because here's the thing with that. A lot of people that are leaving now, it's not just white people. It's also other ethnicities. But what's happening is there's no jobs here. There's less jobs here,
doesn't it?
Because a lot of corporate jobs, a lot of people don't want to talk about this either. A lot of the corporate jobs, they're not going to have people in the buildings anymore. They're only going to have essential personnel in the buildings.
That's what they're doing now.
So the only people that are really going to be in those buildings are your IT professionals and maybe your salespeople.
Yeah. I saw an article like that everybody are considering, why am I still living here if I don't have to be next to where I live anymore? What's the point?
Exactly. Yeah. And they can't make their rent, so they all said, okay, I'm just going to go upstate where it's cheaper. So now you're going to see it.
Easy, like, what's up? That's what I would do. I would live in New Jersey on the edge.
But here's the thing with New York. New York is a very interesting dynamic. You have New York City in the southeast part, right? Do you understand that it's squeezed? As liberal as New York is, it's squeezed between Long Island, that's liberal, that's conservative. You go upstate. As you go further upstate, it gets conservative. When you move to Jersey on the west, unless it's northern New Jersey, a lot of those towns are conservative as well.
Yeah, I've seen. When I went in there, I was just like, I would expect
all those people, right? All those liberals you try to throw out, by the time this election comes around, they're going to become conservative or in the middle. And I made this joke too. I said that New York is going to go red. And everybody knows New York is traditionally a liberal state that goes blue. It's going to go red. And it's going to scare the hell out of people. But back to the white flight. White flight's part of black on black crime too. All these areas that I live around here in Brooklyn, before the 70s, they were white. As soon as the black folks started moving in, they said, I'm getting the hell out of here.
Yeah. And that's That's pretty much what happens. If they want, if and also because white people have more of the power, basically, if they decide, you know what, we want to move back to the city, they move there. And what happens to the people who live there? They move out. If they decide, oh, they're coming in, oh, we're moving back out. And then they're basically causing like the tide movement, like the wave. Wherever they go, it's like, okay, they leave everything behind. And then wherever they want to come back to, they move everything out of there.
Y'all's queen Michelle Obama.
Are you
a few months ago went y'all love listen, black people love them so Michelle Obama. I'm sorry.
I mean, she's amazing. She can't do no wrong. So
I can dispute that right now. I can dispute that right now. She went and did an interview out there in Chicago for the Obama Foundation and started talking about white flight. Ma'am, let's ask this question. When you left office with your husband, why didn't you go back to Chicago? Why didn't you live in the South Side?
Be with her husband. Dang.
Hang on. Y'all were down there in DC. Why didn't you go to Southeast? Why don't you go to Northeast?
But I think they also have like expectations of where people like where, you know, people like the old president would live. You know, like I understand like, oh, but they also climbed up. So I guess to them it's like going back there probably be like,
wait, I got something else for you. No. Why didn't you move to Brooklyn? You could have easily moved to Bed-Stuy.
There are probably other reasons why. There are probably other reasons
because they don't want to be around black people. They don't want to be around black people.
I don't want to make that assumption.
I'm gonna prove it. They want to live around black people so much. You know, two areas in this country they could have moved in would have been around black people and still been in an affluent society. You could have moved to Decatur, Georgia, where there's plenty of black millionaires over there, and you could have moved to Baldwin Hills in California. Plenty of black millionaires.
What if your children's education?
Where you at? Where you at? How bad is Prince George's County?
It's not bad.
You gonna tell me? Right? You couldn't tell me you couldn't find a mansion down there?
Oh, they definitely could. I thought that they. Never mind. I think they have a house.
Where is their mansion? Hang on. Where is their mansion? Martha's Vineyard. White people, $15 million.
Okay, but talk about all the other celebrities who do the same thing. They get rich and they leave the black.
You mean like Ice Cube? Oh, you want to talk about Ice Cube? Who, when he got his deal, he still lived in the hood until they kept robbing him, so he ended up leaving?
I mean, what was he supposed to do? Do you just keep getting robbed?
Oh, so he had to get robbed first to leave.
No, I'm saying like in his situation, he had a real reason. If you've never been robbed before and you're just like, I just don't want to live there with too many black people. But if I lived in a community and my kids were in danger, they were getting robbed, it could have been robbed with my. They could have gotten robbed by Asian people. I would still leave because of safety reasons.
Exactly.
You know, like,
but here we go.
So I get that, but it's like if you have no reason and you haven't even tried it yet, and you just left the White House, and your mindset is, yeah, I'm gonna just go to that one place that most likely won't have crime. It is a prejudice on the black community, but I also feel like there are many reasons that go into it other than just black people.
I'm not knocking the fact that they did that. They're doing that for themselves. I'm not knocking them for that. I'm just saying it looks critical that she would talk about white flight when she did black flight. But before we go, I have one more example for you, and this happened years ago. Since you brought up when you brought up your last point about Ice Cube getting robbed, yeah, he should have left. Did you know there was a mother in Chicago who had 5 sons and all of them died in the same neighborhood in 5 years?
No.
All 5 of her sons, all went outside, got killed. First one died. Every year she lost a son. First one died, never moved. Second one died, never moved. Third one died, never moved. Fourth one died, never moved. Fifth one died, never moved. She's still there today.
Where's she
in the same neighborhood where they killed her kids?
What's to say she can't afford to? She probably couldn't afford to leave. Like a lot of people would like to have a better life. That doesn't happen. You know, like
so you're telling me. So wait, you're telling me that you had the first one. You didn't think about moving. You can't tell me you didn't have the money. I can't use that.
At the third one, I definitely would have been like, oh hell no. Even at the second one.
There's organizations, but here's the thing: there's state and city organizations that would have helped you move. She got national press. She could have moved.
You know what I mean? Like, we don't know what reasons were behind. It could have been where she lived with her husband and everyone else. It could have been
Oh, she wasn't married. Oh, she wasn't married. She was a single.
I guess just where she started her life. But like, it could have really been something more important to her, to the point that her mind wasn't clicking in the whole, you are losing your kids. Like, some people's priorities are so shitty that there's no way you can explain this type of occurrence. It's like she could have left, but she chose to stay. No one had a gun to her head. At any point in time, she could have left or figured out a way to make money to leave, even if she couldn't afford it. After losing 1, 2, 3, press definitely would have been out there talking about hello, and she could definitely have generated press for herself and generated a GoFundMe, something, to leave, but she chose to stay every single time. So at that point, it is her choice. It's her choice, and there's nothing we can do about that. If she decides to stay,
I'm sorry, but if my parents died if my parents died in their house, I'm selling that house tomorrow. I mean, couldn't go back in there.
Most people would do. They want a fresh beginning and fresh start, but there are people like her who decide to stay instead until all her kids are gone. So it'd be like, people, and it sucks, but what can you do?
Right.
That's her choice.
I know people that have dogs. They get rid of everything that ever reminded them of the dog. I even knew one person that got rid of their car because them and the dog used to go on road trips together.
Was it a white person? Because I wouldn't put that past them. Not to be stereotypical.
No, this was a black person.
Wow, that's people love their
my
dog.
thing is that right. So there it is. So people love their dogs more than they love their own kids.
You see that one guy in the
each other.
Lady, and people were talking about how she was treating the dog, and not even as much as
Oh, I did a video on that. I got mad dislike because I said both of them were wrong. Because they didn't know how conflict was going. It's on my page. When you get off here, it's on my page. It's on my YouTube page. You can go listen to it. I said both of them didn't know how conflict resolved. That was the only thing I saw wrong with there.
Ooh,
and people gave me mad. And people disliked the hell out of it. I was like, okay, that's fine.
You said that's definitely a attack mode type comment.
Fine. If you go look at the show that I did the other day, I said some shit in there too that people ain't gonna like. Like before we got on, I told you that comment I made about how white liberals look at black people. I know when I played it for my wife, she said, you didn't really say anything wrong. It's just the fact that you said it the way you said it, they're gonna have a problem with it. I was like
they want to be spoon-fed,
but they're gonna get more mad at the trigger word that I used.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing with the whole being politically correct community we live in now. It's you won't say things how people want to hear them. They won't listen to you. It's going to be a problem. Exactly. They stick on that one thing that they don't like, and it disputes everything else you said that makes sense. It sucks, but
I guarantee you, and I'll end off on this point. I guarantee if Will Smith started talking about black on black crime, people would start talking about it.
Why Will Smith? You think they see him as the father of the black?
Smith got because he has almost 100 million followers on Instagram. Anything he puts up, any kind of video he puts up, gets 1 million views of an hour. If he sat there, it doesn't even have to be like an Instagram live video, not a live. What's the other thing? The Instagram one where you do more than a minute. The one more than a minute.
Wow.
Or the IGTV. If he did a 59 video, he's just sitting at his table talking about, black on black crime in Philadelphia is bad. And he showed the effort saying, like, even if he had like the video where he's just like walking around his own neighborhood, he's like, guys, we got to chill out here because, you guys have so much opportunities out here. Let's start rebuilding.
He had almost 500 million. Oof.
That's what I'm saying. If someone like him that has that kind of reach would have talked, shit would move.
Yeah.
The only people that are talking about black on black crime consistently are the conservatives. And we already know how the black conservatives are.
One video of his has 10 million views. People actually, how celebrities sometimes be having like 50 million followers, but only like 500,000 do anything. So he actually reaches people.
Yeah, but hell, do you understand that the red table that he did with him and Jada got almost 20 million views?
Mm-hmm. On that
if they just sat there and talked about black on black crime, I mean, it's not going to get the views because it's not sexy.
No, it probably would. People
but even if
as a result of them tuning in,
because you got to remember too, they preview what they do. So if it's not something sexy or salacious, they're not going to talk about it. But even they take the million off rip because of who they are.
I hate that mentality within our community. Somebody starts drama, and all of a sudden that person gets 1 million followers because you just want to see more drama. disgusting. Like, damn, y'all ain't got
Now
nothing.
I want to see how much. Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
August is like he got shot into A-list status.
Ugh.
Just saying he might have smashed. He might have
smashed. Basically of a relationship that ended years ago. I can't believe it.
But that's what I'm saying. Black people don't care. But I'm saying, what my only contention, you have all these celebrities, but I understand they're not in control of their money.
They're not.
Because the people that I mentioned before, that start with a J, control their money. But see, this is why I respect Denzel Washington, because he don't care. He'll tell you. He said this years ago, it starts in the home. Black folk got mad at him for saying that. Wow. I'm wearing this t-shirt with Jesse Lee Peterson on it. That's my dude. He speaks about that too. Make a face when I say this name. Tommy Sotomayor. He says the same thing. But they're all conservatives. Y'all won't touch him. Y'all won't listen to him. But I guarantee if y'all's Cardi B and y'all's Migos,
I hate
y'all.
That's why I don't follow these.
They won't say anything.
Because all they do is twerk on camera, some dumb shit, talk about, come at me, nails cracking, and it's like that's what people care to watch, and it's really sad and annoying.
Yeah. Hey Cardi, guess what? You're a Latina. Latinas kill each other, but you worried about you can't get sushi during the COVID.
I didn't even know she said that.
Oh yeah, she said this on her Instagram live. She's sitting there crying, talking about she can't get sushi during the COVID. I'm like, dumbass. Your people are killing each other. Why don't you bring awareness to that? But no, you're profiting off of it.
Wow.
But folk, that was fun. Some kind of fun. Got a little heated. See, black people, even though we were talking over each other, black people can talk. And see, I ain't calling no B's or H's or ratchet, whatever. She ain't say nothing about my mama. She could have. I'm sure I could have made some. I could have said something that she ain't like. She could have said, how can you say this? Your mama black. She could have said that.
You got to start shouting out productive arguments. You can have productive arguments and learn from each other, and still choose to disagree or agree at the end. Like, it's perfectly fine. You can take what you want from conversation.
Right. When I did the IG thing with the brother, I mean, we were both on opposite ends, but we did it respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't give me credit. He was like, you at least you were being respectful. I'm like, I'm not gonna cuss you out here, right?
I don't understand.
I give credit. I just want you to see it from my perspective, because you might not see it. But white people, we're never gonna get nowhere until. And lastly, I gotta say it, white people. For them, please leave the niggas and the ratchet people behind. We have to rebuild, and we can't rebuild. We can't rebuild with them. I'm sorry. You can use some of them as pawns and workers. We can't rebuild with them.
Leave all.
If you want us to be taken serious, you have to show these other races that yes, we finally taken accountability, and we're trying.
Right.
Y'all got to get on y'all. Y'all got to get in. If y'all and what's also pissing me off is a lot of black folks starting to quote Malcolm, and y'all don't really with Malcolm like that. Y'all don't know Malcolm like that.
They don't. Like I said, people choose what supports their argument in the moment. That's what they choose.
Exactly. Y'all want militant Malcolm, and I was like, listen, y'all can go quote militant Malcolm all you want. Guess what? Malcolm went to Mecca, came back, and said white people can help him, but they can't join us. So he understood he's gonna have to, for where we need to go. We have to be part of the society, but we can be our own society. Guess what? White people, they're part of society, but they're their own society. They know about that white liberal. They don't really mess with that white liberal. They're cracking on the white liberal on TV. But like I said yesterday on the show, the black people get ruled the golden plate. Bill Clinton got a golden plate. Hillary got a golden plate, and I crack on my wife about that all the time too. She's the same one that called us super predators, but y'all gave her a pass because she had hot sauce. She had hot sauce.
No, I mean, I never gave her a pass. The minute after her election ended, I was like, okay, who's she? Who's she? Because the only reason I was going to vote for her was because it was which one is the better devil? Which one is the devil I can live with? That was it. They both were bad, but which one was the one I could survive with?
Listen, listen. You could say that, but you know what? Trump got his flaws, but the fact that man permanently funded the HBCUs, he started First Step with Kanye and Kim trying to get black people out of jail, and he's gotten black people out of jail. I don't care what nobody tells me.
Because he wants the black vote. Like, why?
He didn't. But listen, here's the thing: you can't say that because number one, he only got 15% of black men to vote for him,
and he probably wants more. You think that's all he wants?
No, here's the thing: he didn't have to do anything for that because look who they're trying to put up now.
But then look though, he's trying to build more. He's also trying to get reelected. So what are you going to do within the time?
But he didn't need. But he don't need the black vote for that. Black vote is dead. He doesn't need that.
Shoot, I mean,
the most powerful vote right now is the Hispanic vote.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They're the biggest minority voting bloc in the country right now.
Oh wait,
he didn't.
Has people treated black people in minority size? It's more Spanish.
Hispanics are the biggest minority right now.
Oh my gosh!
On paper, they are, but here's the thing: white people just understand that if the Hispanics plant them, they get more money government. So what they're doing is,
how is that possible? He's literally trying to build a wall to separate.
Oh no! But here's the thing: white people are very shrewd. So what? I'm sure you've seen this on applications. You know how they say white/non-Hispanic, and then white Hispanic origin.
Basically,
they want the white, right? They want the Spaniards and the light-skinned Mexicans and the Colombians to click that box, so they can keep their numbers up. Because right now they say that white people are 61% of the population. I think that's bullshit.
Goodness.
I think it's in the 50s. I think it's in the 50s.
Yeah,
but they're taking the Hispanics away
years ago. But
they're siphoning the Hispanics. But
damn,
yes,
I really thought that black
people
as of
2016,
we really are at the bottom.
Yes, because, and I said this on my Obama show, black people lost. They had 8 years to build their political base, and they let it erode because they thought Obama was gonna.
We all were chilling. We were like, "Oh, Obama got it."
And you saw what happened now. And I'm glad on black people because a lot of them are turning on him now.
Oh, so, I
think they finally waking up.
A politician. Like I have nothing. I'm still not like I hate Obama, but I do have to understand that he was a politician first before he was the black president.
I'm about 90% because I give him credit for doing My Brother's Keeper. I give him credit. I give him credit for that. I defended him because there were black people, there were black chicks that tried to sue him for that, saying he wasn't doing enough for black girls, even though they had to come out and say, look at all these initiatives we've done for black girls.
Right.
Y'all don't get to go run around and say you're the most educated group in America without Obama.
Yeah, exactly. I know that is true. Got to give credit to
for Trump. Like I said, he don't need the black vote. With First Step, and I don't care what nobody says, Centoya Brown doesn't get out of jail without that. Y'all want to put her on the pedestal, she don't get out. The fact that we had the lowest unemployment numbers amongst black people with this white man in the thing that y'all swear up and down he racist. Okay, you could say he did it because he probably got a profit off it. Who gives a damn?
Right.
That's your job to take advantage of it.
Right.
I took advantage of it. I don't have any more debt. I took advantage of it. I did this during the COVID. How the hell is that possible? I'm trading stock. How the hell is that possible? I know for a fact when these reports come out.
You doing the Forex? I see you doing the Forex?
I'm gonna start that this week. But I started trading. I bought two stocks in Kodak on Wednesday.
Oh, okay. I'm doing the general long-term stock with like Robinhood and like Fidelity and stuff. Like
I have Ameritrade. Okay, I'm black. I'm a young black man. She's a young black woman. And we're trading stock. How much you want to bet when these schools open up and after 6 months when they do the assessment, they're going to show black kids are behind? How much you want to bet?
Of course they are.
And not just behind, they're going to be behind worse than they've already been because we don't give a damn. And that's another thing on black crime, why it doesn't, the education system. But
stereotype that
starts at home.
minorities that come from different countries tend to work harder than African Americans in the country?
Yes,
You know that?
Nigeria. I don't even go to other minorities. I can just go to ours. I can go to Nigerians.
Oh, I'm Nigerian, FYI.
It is. It is.
But
I just
yeah,
found
like,
out. I did my. I found out I'm Nigerian and Kenyan.
oh,
Hey,
really?
my mom and dad are from Jamaica.
Yeah,
They came here by themselves in their teens, busting their ass.
yeah.
My dad, leading manager of a pharmaceutical company. My mom was a
In the
teacher.
Caribbean,
Before that, she
y'all not
that's what
African.
I'm saying. Mindset.
Y'all need to get this shit together,
Mindset.
please. Go do
Yeah,
your
no,
research.
you know what it is? You know what it is? And I'm sorry to say this, but black folks in America, this is your fault. Because now, no, it is. It's your fault because your mindset is starting to permeate into other areas of black culture that's not even in this country. You got the UK people following us, and those are African born for the most part, or Caribbean born, and they're following what we do here. The Africans are following what we're doing now.
That's true.
And if that continues in 10 years, they're going to be just like us.
Yep. Yeah. Unless we have more
Now,
migrant people come here and reset
the migrant ones are over here now getting the African American.
They're not trying to be here forever. Every time you hear a migrant parent, build, and leave. Get your cash, leave. Send that shit.
Jamaicans do that all the time. They get their money, they get their money, and then they build their houses. And as soon as they go back, they look comfortable.
If you're a Nigerian person and you don't plan to build a house in Nigeria or already have a house in Nigeria, people looking at you weird. Like, so what are you doing? So what are your plans? What are your goals? Because it's like, if you're not doing anything in your own hometown, what are you doing then? Because you have to remember, this is not your country. This is not your home. So if you're not doing anything in your home, then what are you really doing? And the problem with black people is this is your home. You don't know anything else other than this. So a lot of people tend to just kind of be stuck in that rut of just, well, what else are you going to do? You could work harder, but like they start to look at all the different aspects that have held people back and reasons why they can't succeed or reasons why they're behind. All these things. Meanwhile, a migrant comes from a different country, knows nothing about this country, and every advantage they can, they start climbing that shit, taking that shit. Like, we got to go. Almost like they don't have time. Almost like the world is ending tomorrow. So why can't all black people be on that mindset? Why can't all black people be like, you know what? We got, like 400 years has already passed. Like, come on.
Right. It's like we said, black folk are scared to change.
I mean, to get rich.
You gotta understand too. No, here's the thing. I don't care what nobody says. This is the easiest country in the world to
get rich or like get up.
Not even get rich. Do anything.
On social media, you can just get popping if you get picked up on social media because you went viral. Bam! Now you have a job at your dream, company. Like just like that. It's crazy. Like you have to just go viral on TikTok, and now you have your dream life. Like what? This is overnight type shit. That doesn't happen anywhere else. You are coming here to do that. So, my laptop is dying. Oh,
yeah, and I've got to go too because I have a meeting with this Forex thing.
Oh, so, right. Let me know how that goes. You're hitting me up.
Yeah. I'll let you know. I'll let you know after the first week.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So before we go, folks, I'm gonna let Miss Sandra, just tell you where you can find her at, and then we're gonna go because I gotta get ready, get my wife, and then go do my second show. And it's gonna be our season finale, and I'll give y'all a little preview. We're gonna talk about protection because our women love saying that they're not protected, and I know it's gonna be racially charged. No, it's not.
I want to hear that. I definitely feel some type of way about that.
I'm going to ask her if she wants to go on film. We might do it live, but now we're probably just gonna do recorded, and then it'll be up probably in the next, I want to see 2 weeks because I have back-to-back shows that I have ready to go. Actually, the one dropped today, part 1 of my discussion about the Congressional Black Caucus. Woo! So yeah, but go ahead and just let them know where they can find you, and then.
Well, yeah, you can find me on Instagram. I have my own private Instagram page, which you can find on the podcast page. My personal page is a travel page because I travel a lot, so it's just like separate. But my podcast page is at I Got Problems Pod. And that's pretty much it. I mean, there's no underscore, no nothing. It's just at I Got Problems Pod. And if you find that, then you'll see our discussions. You can join us. We'll be talking crazy shit too. We'll be laughing and posting updates. And, we're super Black Lives Matter. So we're always posting, activism related stuff, trying to update the community on what's going on. And because it's all about problematic topics, we talk about any and every problem that there is. And like I said, I think our upcoming topic is tipping. Why don't people tip? And why is tipping a problem? And why do people assume that Black people are the only ones who don't tip? Because that shit's not true. I used to be
racist.
And exactly. Like, we talked about that. And why do people feel
I work in restaurants, so I understand.
Yeah, why do people
I hear the waiter story.
And not once did I feel like there are people trying to tell you how much you should tip them. It's not legal. This is not even my job. So it's like when you start to feel entitled, I certainly don't want to give you shit because it's not your money. It certainly is not. You need to understand that. So it's like at the end of the day, you shouldn't feel entitled to other people's money. That was my stance. My co-host has a different stance, but somewhat the same. But we all agree, don't judge people based on their color when they come out to eat. Some people only have $50 in their account. They're just trying to do something nice for themselves, and they just want to come out to eat. You shouldn't feel entitled to whatever they got left. Like, damn, just let them eat and pay for their service and go home, So we have that situation. And yes, still tip the people, of course, working through the pandemic to make you happy and give you something to do because, they do deserve it. But you as the person serving, you don't get to choose what they get to tip you. That's not your role because tipping is a gratitude of service. It's not a requirement. People need to understand that. It's something that capitalism and the hospitality industry has kind of put in the hands of the customer and not, the person serving. So it's a whole thing, but I want you guys to listen to it. So check our podcast out because it's a topic and I'm very passionate about it because I'm like, I am so tired of y'all thinking, it's like, it makes me look like I'm not a tipper, but I'm like a very generous tipper. But I'm not going to tip you when you give me shitty service because you think you just, you don't deserve my money just because I came here to eat. Like, I'm going to need you to do your job. But that's how I felt about that. And you can hear more about that. Our episodes are 30 minutes long as well. So it's not like anything too crazy where you can be like, oh, we're just like doing whatever. No, we try to cut it short because we know people have short memory skills. People like to like skip out on it. So take a listen. And definitely listen to this episode too if you're listening to it, of course, or not listening to it. Take a listen because I feel like this is something Black people should listen to, even though some of them are still going to be like, yeah. But yeah, there's that.
So thank you very much for coming on.
My laptop is on 2%. It's like hanging for dear life.
Yeah. I mean, if you have to go, it's okay.
No, it's okay. It's probably going to shut down. So we're at the end.
Yeah. So, folks, thank you so much for listening. Stay safe out there. I ain't got it because my test said not detected. So you can kiss my
allergy.
All right. Talk to y'all soon.
Bye, y'all. Are you frozen?